I need to turn it up. I've improved. How are you gonna bottle me up? I'd be better off playing somewhere else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like, is that not all right? So do you? All right. So my whole thing is
that's why you give that motherfucker the ball back after he gives it to you. Oh, you want to play somewhere else? Oh, you don't need me then. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you little fucking bastard. Take you and your stupid little baby fro the fuck out of here. Fuck you, Kobe. Go play in Chicago. Little bitch.
Nah.
We are just checking in after the LA Lakers and Shaquille O'Neal has finally won an NBA championship. And this is a huge moment for Shaq. This is a massive moment for Shaq, and something that and this has been talked about by Phil Jackson and by Shaq in his later years. This is something that Shaq looked at as, finally, I got this 800-pound elephant off my back. Like, it's something that has been nagging me and people have criticized me for my whole career. Now I got one. These motherfuckers can get off my ass, right? So he was told by the Lakers and Phil Jackson to just chill, bro. Chill, enjoy your summer, come back in September. Right?
Yeah.
And according to Phil Jackson, he comes back not September 1st, but September 28th.
Shaq had kind of told her, really take it easy. This has been a long season. You put a lot of energy in. You put a lot of minutes on the floor. Your body needs to really heal. And, don't worry about working out. Come back in September and start getting ready for the year. And he did. He came back about September 28th and started getting ready for the year instead of September 1st.
In Shaq's defense, it was the first time he was champion, and it was the first time he was able to relax for once in his career and enjoy a basketball moment.
Oh, wow.
And
that's crazy.
And the season begins on a month, basically.
So he came a month before. But you see, like, those kind of things should hinder, like, when we're talking about, like, the greatest bigs and stuff like that, or the greatest, like, I don't know how great of a leader Shaq really was.
Okay.
Like, just because, like, for that to be one of the biggest issues between him and Kobe, and just, like, in general. But do you think Phil kind of fed that, though? Because if you over here telling, like, the biggest rift between Kobe and Shaq is that.
Right.
And then for you to go and tell the players to relax and, like, enjoy your summer, and pretty much saying, don't work on your game this summer. Like, do you think that?
I think it wasn't them telling him don't work on your game, but more don't just
like he just took it to the extreme, you think?
Just enjoy it. Just like, you're good to relax, man. You don't have to constantly be in this position where
the mentally draining aspect of it.
Precisely, yeah. Where it's super mentally draining, and it's like causing issues for the whole, you know what I mean? Like, Shaq needed a break, definitively, for him.
Yeah.
Kobe was working out all summer, right? Doing Kobe things, not taking a break. Probably picked up a basketball less than a few days after the season ended. I could totally see that.
For sure.
Which is one of the things that's going to create that.
But that also, I think, is another reason why he makes that big leap, probably.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Where I feel like, so we just finished saying that, like, especially in the just last season, we feel like Shaq has reached his apex.
Yeah.
Like, do you think at this point he's still, like, at that apex, or is starting to do the little drop? Like, he's like just on the tip going down?
That's an amazing question.
Because a lot of people might say, and just,
I'm listening. No,
But a
no.
lot of people might say that apex lasts until that 2002 season, and then it starts dropping off.
I think he's absolutely, especially in this season in particular, I think he's still there.
Yeah.
I think he's still up there, but I think there's going to be moments where it's not as easy for him this year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Shaq. This is one of the first seasons where Shaq's really going to play his way into shape. That's why I really wanted to bring this up, because it's something that is talked about in the media to this day. And I feel like you can point it to a certain point in his career where he was really about that. But like even playing his way into shape, still playing over 40 minutes a game to start the year, because he was playing himself into shape. Kobe, who had been, as we just discussed, had been working all summer on his game, thought, fuck it, this is my chance to shine.
Yeah.
This is my chance to take these opportunities and start carrying the team and making it my team.
Yeah.
Right?
And Shaq, oh, my bad. I was just going to say, and Shaq always made it seem like he appreciated that. Right?
You think?
Like I'm talking about like after,
in general?
Like later on, he says that he appreciated knowing that he knew that he had a guy that could get him 30.
After the first championship, I'm happy. Matter of fact, in my mind, I'm done. Now I can go do what I want to do. So I'm here, we go to the parade, do that, boom, I jump on the plane, take the family back to Orlando. I'm sitting. Oh, Kobe never got their first championship. Can they get another one?
Right.
I'm mad. I'm upset. One thing I know I got a guy that's going to be ready. So I admit a lot of times I didn't come into camp ready, because that's just how I got done. Because my thing is, I don't need to get ready for dunking.
Right.
I don't need to get ready. I'll get ready when I get ready. So because I had you, I was able to just chill out in the summer, do what I do.
See, that's what pissed me off. That was it right there. That was.
Listen, I got beat up. I got hack and shack. I was tired, man. I ain't doing no work. I'm going home. I'm swimming. Me and Uncle Jerome, we sipping pina coladas. We eating burgers.
My ass is in the gym 10 hours a day.
One thing I know I got a kid that's going to give me 40 whenever he wants to.
So
that's a fact. That's
fact.
What made that's absolutely been said.
Yeah.
But what do you think he was feeling in the moment?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a lot of the stuff he wanted from Kobe, and this is the part that kind of frustrates me a little in the season. We probably we'll see more as we go on, but he wanted this. He asked for this 2 years ago. He said, why are we waiting for a guy that's not ready or whatever? And he didn't like that Kobe wasn't at that point yet in his career. And he's like, I need to win now. Yeah. And now, fast forward 2 years later, you get what you were asking for, and you're mad about it because now he's like, this is my team too. And he did it with Penny, and then now it's happening with Kobe, but it's to a bigger extent because I don't know if peak Penny was this. Like, okay,
so this is fair, but the Penny point is an important point. This exact situation was starting to happen with Penny Hardaway, and I don't think Penny was this. I don't think Penny was looking at it like, I'm taking over, this is my team. I think Penny very much was a different level of unselfish than Kobe, who's, you know,
he was, Kobe he wanted it.
He wanted the spot, and he didn't care who was in his way, and all he saw was this motherfucker comes in with fucking 4 weeks to go to the start of the season, like basically showing up for the preseason. I've been here every single day in the off season. Whose team is this?
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see it. You can spell it out.
That's leadership there to me. But as we'll go through, maybe it wasn't.
This is the part that's interesting. So they're going to add Horace Grant to the team, right? They're going to lose Glenn Rice. But they're picking up people that Shaq has won with, and Phil Jackson, for that matter, also has won with in their past. Yeah. And Shaq is, just from a personality and charisma standpoint, the most liked guy on the team. And very much the locker room leader in terms of the big fella's our guy. This is our guy. And maybe that is because a lot of them probably feel like, Shaq is a little, fucking sensitive.
Yeah.
And we gotta make sure that he knows it's his team. There's probably some truth to
But he's
that.
also off the court. He's probably much more fun than Kobe is.
Definitely.
At this point.
Definitely.
Like,
Because Kobe's talking shit to his teammates right now. Like he's fucking,
hard on them, probably.
Yeah. Drill sergeant.
But maybe not, because they're like because you got to remember, he might not be like that because he's still the youngest guy on the team. Like, I feel like it's more so.
But he's insane. But we know he's an insane person. Yeah. So I don't think he looks at it like that.
Yeah.
You've said it yourself in previous episodes where he's in his late teens.
Yeah.
Kobe's trying to take the spot. Like,
no, for sure.
He feels like it's justified now because of the amount of time he's spent in the offseason. So he's going to start taking more shots than Shaq.
Yeah. But I also think the main focal point of the whole leadership thing dynamic in this Laker team is Shaq is also the greatest player in the world at this point. He just
definitely true. Coming off that finals, yes, 100% accurate.
So I think that's another thing. Like most players, if you see someone have that dominant performance, you don't go the next year and be like, "This is my team now." Like after that, you know what I mean? Like it's not really what we're gonna be doing here.
It's not really how this works. How do you see? That is the thing where you look at it and go, "How is that leadership?" Like, that's just fucking being a pirate and taking over, being the captain of the ship and speaking like a fucking pirate. It's fucking amazing. But through the first 25 games, the Lakers are going to go 16-9, which is considered disappointing for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to the riff is really going to show out more on defense than offense. Like, despite the fact that Kobe's taking more shots, and I'm sure that's irritating Shaq because we know Shaq has a problem with fucking sharing any kind of spotlight and being considered 1B ever.
Yeah.
So Kobe's going to average, I think it's 28 a game, which is the most in the NBA to this point. Right?
Yeah.
So, 28.8 points a game.
Yeah.
29, 5 and 5, right? With a steal and a half. Shooting 46%, which is not terrible for Kobe standards. It's actually pretty good. And
just so you know, in this time of his career, that's pretty standard. So I'm just
we're gonna get to a guy in Allen Iverson that changes what volume shooting is all about.
Yeah, and he's shooting almost 4 threes a game in this stretch.
He's right where he's gonna be for his career for the most part.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much where he's at. But they're giving up a sixth worst 97.36, so 97.4 opponent points per game. Yeah. This is an era where there's a lot of teams that are because of where the pace is.
Yep.
They're not giving up a lot of points. Like 99.9 and 97.3 is near the bottom of the league. When we get to the finish. So through the first 25, they're down here with the bottom 5. It's 6th worst, so the bottom 6 in terms of defense. But their offense is fucking amazing. Like, they're still getting up buckets. They're still, like, that's the crazy part of this whole situation. People are looking at it disappointed, and as we go further through the year, they're going to start to pick up a little bit more steam.
Yeah. And just think about it, because this is a very slow. What's the pace for this year?
The average pace, I'm pretty sure it's like.
Yeah, I'm curious about the average pace and then where the Lakers fall in that.
So, average pace is 91.3, and the Lakers are 91.7. So it looks like they're right around. So they're
a little above. Average.
Yes, 14th, right, almost dead center.
Yeah. So that's weird. Like, a lot of people, what are they in the playoffs? I'm sorry. The only reason I'm curious is because I feel like we look at the Lakers as such a slow paced team, but like
so before I even pull up the playoffs, this is part of this. A lot of people consider this team that we're getting into one of the greatest teams of all time. And it has little to do with this regular season.
Yeah.
The stats, the way they play, the way they're going to handle everyone from a defensive standpoint is going to change completely. But there's this power struggle going on, right? So on the 17th of December, Kobe is going to have a career high. It's actually kind of it's a really crazy game because pretty sure
Jameson, Antoine Jameson gives you a 50 piece as well.
Yeah, is this? I think I'm on the.
No, this is not. That's not the game. Yeah, that's crazy. He got another 40 piece.
Yeah. But hold on, here we go, 51. Yeah. So this was on the 6th, right?
It's crazy. People are probably like, "We're looking. This is Shaq's legacy breakdown. What we're talking about."
This is
but it's 100% relevant. Yeah.
They both had 51-point games. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
They both had 51-point games.
Yeah.
But this is Kobe's obviously his career high. But there's a New York Times article that comes out on the 17th, so a few days after this.
Yeah.
Right? So they're on the 6th. So on the 17th, in a Golden State Warriors locker room last week, guard Bobby Sura, who was apparently a starting Warriors guard, never fucking heard of him. Anyways, twice rewound a tape of a recent LA Lakers game after a sequence in which Kobe Bryant threw down a scintillating dunk. He had a couple of really good plays in this game. I thought he had a really nice block defensively.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to pull this up.
That block was awesome. It was just no one else came back to like try to get the rebound kind of thing.
Right. So I'll throw some of this on while I'm looking at it. Look, Sir said, rewinding the tape. They're just looking, not doing anything. The slam did not trigger the customary parade of ecstatic behavior from teammates. Now, when I see something like that, the first person and player I always think of is Bob Sacre on the mid to late 2010s Lakers. He was the king of bench celebrations. I'll cue to that now. He's the absolute legend. They did several videos about him where he's just like practicing different things to celebrate off the bench. When guys do sick shit on your team, you're supposed to be stoked all the time. There's obvious crowd reactions.
Yeah. Same time frame. What I always remember is like those Cleveland teams. They used to have fucking like they used to fall off the bench all together and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a bunch of different celebrations. Yeah,
the robot, fucking
This is the block.
Is this the block? Okay, so
pop.
Look. This is the Lakers. This is the fucking Lakers bench.
Yeah,
like this is what I saw. Nothing. No reaction. I didn't see any dunks. I'll be honest with you. I looked through this whole tape.
Yeah, that's what I
didn't see any dunks. But I saw this block, and I jumped. I went, woo! Holy shit!
Yeah.
What a fucking block! And nobody on this bench is moving.
Yeah.
Nobody on this fucking bench is moving. That's the only thing. That is an interesting. It's very interesting.
I honestly, because I was looking for it too. I was like, even looking for like when he's shooting free throws, like if he's touching people's, like giving the pounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see much of what he was talking about. I personally felt like it was just like media narrative, to be honest.
Sure.
Like just, and like he's just adding to it. Like, cause you gotta remember, they're also in their division, aren't they? Golden State and the Lakers.
Yep.
So
they're all both in California.
You could very well like assume like maybe he's trying to like keep pushing that to like so he could see one of the teams in his division do bad or something, or like
maybe
try to add to whatever.
Maybe
because it didn't seem like that, at least when like, and then at the end of this game, like Kobe's their closer. They already like that's an established spot that he's created for like in that team. So and they go to him, and like Shaq was willingly passing it to him, and all the teammates were. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game, though. Both had 30 plus at by the third quarter, by the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth.
Antoine Jameson. This is this is one of those big, like, Antoine Jameson had a couple of these humongous games for the Warriors. Like, he was a fun guy, underrated. I'll never forget when he signed to Cleveland, and this was supposed to be LeBron's second guy. Yeah. And people were like really fired up about it, and then he just like fell off a cliff. It was crazy. Yeah. If this guy showed up to be with LeBron, like, it might have worked. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Because he was a stretch four. Like, and
and that's probably what caused the Lakers some issues too. Because if you got Horace Grant, Shaq trying to guard him, like, they're not really, like, when you pull them out, that was always something that like messed with the Bulls and obviously messes with the Lakers too.
So Phil Jackson's going to have going to be quoted later on in the interview or in the article saying he's a kid. He's just a 22-year-old kid, Jackson said. Sometimes with Kobe, it's not we, it's me. And in that regard with Kobe, you've got to step back and say what's really important. Well, the team is what's really important. Phil Jackson is so passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And speaking of passive aggressive, write what you see, O'Neal said last week, refusing to elaborate. So Shaq's back on his passive aggressive fucking
same thing he does in TNT.
Yes, very much. I totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Get this. You ready for this? You buy this? Do you buy this? The end of this article wrote, O'Neal had actually developed 2 hand signals. Yeah. 2 hand signals for his teammates. The first one instructed teammates to not give Kobe the ball, quote, under any circumstances. The second instructed teammates to give the ball immediately back to Bryant after he passed it to them like they were 8-year-old children. You buy it?
But what? The part that threw me off was the giving it back to Bryant right away. Like, why?
Because you ever see 2 people that are mad at each other? They pass the ball. No, bro, you take it. You're the king. You're the king. You're the leader. Yeah. You take it. Fucking you do it. You want it so bad, you do it.
But like,
it's just lack of teammate, like.
Yeah, but my whole thing is like, when you're supposed to be the leader of the team, all right, like, this is where, like, I've always kind of sided with Kobe on this, but this is like where it goes even more and more. Like, these are the things that I don't even think about. Like, all right, first you're coming in a month later than you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And then now when you got this guy who's literally working his ass off to try to be, like, he's trying to be the leader of the team, but you're fighting for that position. At the end of the day, you have the 2 best players on the team. And then you're creating this extra shit that causes a rift in the team. Like, how don't you know that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a lot of it's a major lack of self-awareness on both guys, I think. Like, because one guy and the Lakers are gonna go 8-2 over their next 10 games. So from 25 to 35, they're gonna go 8-2. And they're still turmoil. Despite the fact that there's winning, there's still a ton of turmoil. And this is when, on the 11th of 2001, right? On 1/11/2001.
I've never been the one to get into whose team it is, who's this, and who's that. But when everything went through me, the outcome was good. It was 67-15, playing with enthusiasm. The city was jumping up and down, had a parade and everything. And now we're 23-11. So you figure it out. Clearly, if the big dog ain't mean, then the house won't get guarded. Period.
We're playing with no passion, no enthusiasm, and no hunger. You're right. It's not my team. Yeah. Jeez. Jesus, buddy. Meanwhile, you guys are fucking one of the best teams in the league. You're the 4th best record in basketball. You are scoring more than anybody. Yeah. Nobody's putting up 100 in this league, and you're putting up 101 at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that just adds to the poor leadership, I feel like. But this is also, Shaq goes, like, Do you think this was one of those things where Shaq just went to the media to try to rile the team up a little more? Because he's stated this a lot in his post career that he used to do this on purpose. Do you think that this is the case here?
I think it's Shaq being a petulant little bitch, personally.
That's what I felt too, but I just
Personally,
as a Kobe cock rider, it's hard. It's worse,
especially because they're winning.
From me, yeah,
because they're winning. They're still winning. Like,
that's the thing.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, like, well, what matters is I'm not just the main guy. That's the issue there, and I feel
I still don't understand that.
Yeah,
it's weird because Shaq doesn't understand it to this day.
Yeah, it was just it's his pride. Like Shaq is like a very prideful guy. I really don't think do you feel like Kobe needed to be the guy and didn't want Shaq to be there too? I felt like Kobe just wanted to be there, like be considered there with him, and like that's how I take it. Like, but maybe I'm looking at it from like, do you think he was just looking at it as Shaq should just be a role player and this is my team now, or do you think he's looking at it as no, I'm the guy with you. This is also my team.
I think Kobe was looking at it the way I said it earlier, where he was like, listen, this is bullshit. I'm working harder than you. Mm-hmm. I'm here more.
Yeah.
I'm here more. I'm working harder than you. My game is more evolved. My game, I can do more with my game than your big ass can. Like, the offense should run through me. Look at what happened with Jordan in the 90s. It ran through the 2 guard, not the center. They never had a big center at that point. Like, I'm sure it's a little bit of that. But wait,
they never had a center as good as Shaq.
Jackson asked Kobe to assume last season's role of letting the offense flow through O'Neal and taking over only when necessary. Bryant's response, and this is, you want to read the response? This is one of your favorite things ever.
Yeah, he's always talked back to this moment and has always agreed with that. Like he's never like took back this response. So he says, "Tone my game down. I need to turn it up. I've improved. How are you gonna bottle me up? I'd be better off playing somewhere else."
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But like, is that not all right? So so my whole thing is
that's why you give that motherfucker the ball back after he gives it to you. Oh, you want to play somewhere else? Oh, you don't need me then. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you little fucking bastard. Take you and your stupid little baby fro the fuck out of here. Fuck you, Kobe. Go play in Chicago. Little bitch.
Nah, I feel that, but the whole thing is like, I really do think like this was what Shaq was asking for. He wanted him to get to the point that Jerry West, like what Jerry West told him it would be. Like, they're talking about him as the next MJ, and this is as like MJ-esque as possible. Even his game style, like the post fadeaways, everything. Like, I was watching that one game, that 51-point game. He had those post fadeaways, same thing as MJ, everything. So it's like, you wanted MJ, and now you're getting him.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like you can't get mad that what you asked for is now like trying to overthrow you because you're not doing your job. Sure, he's doing his job, but you're not putting in all the work. You're not putting in the work. Like, every superstar to this point of their career, if they were in Shaq's position, they'd be working 10 times harder than him. All of those people in that top 10
for the most part,
are doing that. Yeah. Like, who else isn't? Like, let's think about that top 10.
Late LeBron.
Yeah,
not
I
Miami
agree.
Heat LeBron, but
LeBron's
still, like, second Cleveland run and on.
This is Shaq's 10th season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is Shaq's 10th season. LeBron's 10th season.
That's a fact. No, that's that. No, that did. Like, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Like, all of these top 10 players, like, work working their asses off at this point in their career. I could understand LeBron a little more towards that. His 15th through 19th season, he's like, all right, I gotta take some games off or whatever to conserve myself. Like, sure, that wasn't normal, but like, you can understand it a little bit more as he got older.
Shaq would have absolutely been a guy who did load management in today's NBA.
100%. And then he's bitching about it now.
Yeah. He definitely would have done it.
Because he did it himself. He's like the real creator of load management. Fuck that. Literally didn't work hard in the offseason. Knew you had Kobe throughout the beginning of the season so that you could like work yourself back into shape. Like, yeah, come on.
So, and this is the crazy part. This is the part where it's like, this is what Kobe sees. I don't know if this is right, but this is what Kobe sees, right? Yeah. The last quote I'm going to say, I don't get involved with what guys do individually, but I've always wanted to be a team player. And if the big dog ain't me, then the house won't get guarded. These are two conflicting statements. The two sentences I just read conflict with each other. But I've always wanted to be a team player. And if the big dog ain't me, then the house won't get guarded. Period.
That's literally a contradiction.
That is crazy. Meanwhile, we're looking at they're through 36 games, they're 24-12. Kobe finishes as the leading scorer 19 times. They have a 15-4 record.
Yeah.
Shaq finishes as the leading scorer, and they have a 7-8 record.
Yeah. But that's crazy
that's an indictment.
Like, while Kobe's doing that, you also have teammates not like
agreeing with you.
Yeah. So like, how does that work out? I don't know. That's crazy. Like,
that's gotta
he's doing all of this
fuck with me
against all odds. Like, really, because like when you typically when that happens, you're losing. You know what I mean? Like in those same circumstances, you're putting up all these stats or whatever, but your team will be losing if they're not playing for you. You know what I mean? But it was they were too good. They were just too good that they still could win throughout it.
Oh my God! I just know Shaq has said in his retirement, he's been like, I've not been good with giving my team up B1B to somebody's 1A and a big to a little. I don't play that shit. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because he's not 7 feet tall, you're not gonna. What does that mean?
Well, the
That's
whole thing
literally
is
what it means.
But in Shaq's era, he looks at it as the big men dominated the era, which is to an extent is true. Even though technically Jordan dominated the '90s in terms of championships, in terms of like the best position in that era was the center.
Yeah, this is also the 28-15 era for Shaq. Like, he's absolutely in this moment going, whatever, fuck it. I'll just get my 28, my 15, and whatever. Yeah. And whatever happens, happens. Like, and just like kicking and screaming like a petulant child for the whole thing. Because I'm looking at his stats and it's just like 27-14, 36-16,
both averaged 29 this season. Like,
that's insane.
Yeah. Like, they both averaged 29. Like, Kobe for the season, I think he had, 29, 6 and 6 or something like that. And Shaq is over here like 29, 13, and whatever the hell it is. Like, it's insane.
It's not going to be duplicated for a long time. Yeah. I think
if they had that magic Kareem, the chemistry, like that team could have easily like probably been the like. I think that part pulls them away from the like. I think they're a top 3 team all time, personally.
Almost 60, 30 point, between 30 and 39 points between the two of them is almost 60 of these games.
Yeah.
That is some serious heavy duty scoring. They're and how many they're putting up? They're averaging over 60% of the points.
Yeah. How are they not the greatest duo of all time?
That is a, especially as we get into this next part.
Yeah.
That is going to be abundantly clear.
I just think the apex of those two.
They complement each other so well.
Yeah.
I think they complement each other. Outside of Magic and Kareem, they complement each other better than any duo ever.
Yeah. And the thing with Kobe and Shaq is Shaq was such a big deal in terms of double teaming. Yeah. Like having Kobe have to go one-on-one with anybody was not fair. Like, so it was literally like you had an automatic bucket if you don't double team Shaq, And if you don't, if you do double team him, you got a dude that could get you 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
at any moment. And is waiting, is patiently waiting to give you 50.
He's like a fucking rabid dog. Just let me
rephrase that. Impatient. Impatiently waiting to get you 50. Yeah. Begging to get you 50. Yeah. Please let me go out and rape their team. Please. Yeah.
And we see that in one of those playoff series, and we can't wait for that one.
But I'm just surprised. Shaq had the worst defensive rating by a center with 35 or more minutes at this point, with a 101.4 rating.
Yeah.
Awful. The defense is bottom of the league, and they're just carrying. That's why they had to put up 30 each, because if they didn't, they weren't going to win any of these fucking games. If it was 25 for each of them, they would be bottom of the league.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Makes a difference. On the 23rd of January, there's an article that comes out, LA Times. Shaquille O'Neal has started a conditioning program designed to help him lose weight and gain stamina.
Yeah, but wasn't that after a Kobe a criticism by Kobe? And it says, and the day on January 23rd, 2001, and the day after Kobe challenged his teammates to get in shape, Coach Phil Jackson reveals that Shaquille O'Neal has started the conditioning program. Yep.
So he did challenge. He challenged the whole team. I forgot about that. He definitely did do that. And that
goes back to your point that Kobe wasn't afraid to talk to his team.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He could have been 12 years old. He would have that's how he is. That's just that's his mind frame.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let that shit get in the way of winning.
Yeah. But do you think? All right. So this is my thing, Russ, because I know because we literally just finished Jordan's legacy breakdown right before this. So like Jordan did that same thing, but the difference is the culture was what Jordan says goes.
Sure.
Right. Like I think the reason Kobe seems like such a big, it's more of a big deal with Kobe is because it's not technically fully his team. It's that rift between Kobe and Shaq that makes it.
But it's who he's going up against that makes it even bigger. Like it's not
for sure.
It's not just if it was Kobe and Pau Gasol.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Doesn't turn out that way because Pau Gasol is not a fucking 7-foot pussy. Like
but it's also like
there is some of that with Shaq, and I
don't know about that because I might say Shaq is
he's a 7'2" sensitive pussy.
Sensitive,
and because of what we're gonna see in this playoff run, I feel very confident in saying that right now. This is him being a baby. It's the same thing that happened with fucking Penny, except the difference between him and Penny is he's giving you a reason. Kobe's like, oh, if you're gonna fucking be mad at me, I'm gonna give you a reason to be mad at me. Bah. If you don't like me anyways, fuck it, get your fat ass in shape. You pussy.
That's why it's the bad.
You're fucking stupid.
It's the goatness of him.
But that's
we out here. Stop playing with us.
You're right, and it is the culture of whatever Jordan says goes that does get that moving. But
look at it.
Jordan's also like when Jordan was 22, he was talking to people like that. But it's still, to your point, it was more the organization was being built around him. Yeah, the organization's not going to be built around Kobe Bryant for another 2-3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, because look at it pretty much from 07 or 06 and on, that's when it became. This is Kobe's. We're building around you. And by 08, 09, 2010, he built that, and it was like that. He was a drill sergeant, like kind of thing. It wasn't. I don't think it was as bad as MJ personally, but I think that's the difference because it's not fully his. You have that rift. You have that fight.
Also, it's about this type of shit. He demands perfection.
Yeah,
but he is not perfect. Like
Kobe.
Yes, and there is and I talked about this at the end of the last season, and there is way less of this going on now. But look, in that 51-point game, they lost that 51-point game to the Warriors by 3. Like, this is what the team sees. They see these mega shot games, and it's either the story is going to be either Kobe saves the team from like a tough loss, or Kobe's shooting us into a loss.
Kobe was just trying to do too much. And, when you're that good, you can do too much. But when you play on a team, it shouldn't have to be that hard.
The team's problems came to a head when Kobe exploded for 51 points at Golden State, but failed to produce a win.
Kobe has become a one-man arsenal.
He was trying to help us win so desperately, and he got so many points. He played such a brilliant game and carried it just the one step or two too far.
They knock it loose. They take it away from him. Turnover.
He shot a couple air balls down the stretch.
Throw it into Shaq. Back to Kobe. The 3 on the way. Does it go? And the Warriors win.
And it kind of exacerbated the situation we were in, that, he was trying to win it all by himself a lot of nights.
People wanted me to just kind of level off my play and not improve and just do the same thing I did last year. And I'm not going to do that. I work too hard, and I improve as a basketball player every day, and I want to show that I improve.
Like, look, he's going to have some seriously nice 50% shooting games where it works. And then he's going to have an 8 for 31 where they lose by 4. And it's like, dude, if you gave 5 of these shots to Shaq, 3 of them are probably dunks, and we're winning by 2 points.
Yeah.
Like, I think that matters. And I think that's the way the team that's been built around Shaq, that has played with Shaq, that has established camaraderie with Shaq, I think that's how they look at it.
Yeah. I feel that. Can you look up, like,
even though I think Kobe is probably more accurate than history.
I feel that, because you're pretty much saying it's literally
it's more about this. It's more about the shot attempts.
Yeah, there's reward and risk.
See the shot attempts?
Yeah.
With the shot attempts are up, then that's when the wins and losses get a little dicey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's got a couple, but look, this is where all the losses are in the season.
So pretty much, like, when you look at it, anything over 25 shot attempts usually didn't fare well for him. Yeah. Yeah.
And anytime he went under, and then I would like to see what the assist numbers are, because he has a lot of high assist games this year, and I would imagine there's a few losses, lots of W's for high assists, but more wins than we saw with the shot attempts.
And that's the thing with him. I feel like he was definitely one of those guys that, like, I remember just even watching him in like 2009 to during that time, he would shoot himself. He would try to shoot himself out of a loss. But sometimes it was always like that. That was the reward and risk with Kobe, is he's gonna take his shots. Some of the times he'll make it and he looks like the greatest player in the world. Sometimes if he misses, it's like, damn, that was a bad shot, Kobe, kind of thing.
Right.
I know I used to get frustrated sometimes, but there was so many times where you say, Kobe, don't shoot that, and then it's just like, he still made it. Like, it was.
He's gonna go absolutely Super Saiyan mode in the period of time where Shaq doesn't play. He doesn't play from the 28th of January to the 7th. This is like right around the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And he's gonna just like destroy the whole world.
Yeah. He's 35, 9, and 4.
Yeah, hold on.
Good.
I did one game.
Oh, he had 38 when Shaq came back. He was like, just so you know.
Just in case you forgot, motherfucker.
Yeah, 35,
but he
9,
said
4, 2 steals, 2 blocks. That's great. That's
2 steals and 2 blocks is savage.
Yeah.
Absolutely savage.
That's Jordan
making,
right there.
Making 12 free throws a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking fire.
Yeah.
That's a superstar right there. An uncontrolled, relentless superstar.
So, and we talked about this off mic, but I'm really curious. So this jump from Kobe of 2000 to Kobe of 01, like, people literally are arguing he might be one of the great, like the best players in the league, like the best player.
Price doesn't win Most Improved, honestly.
Yeah, like, I don't understand either. How do you go from? I mean, he averaged 22 last year, right?
Is Most Improved Player a thing at this point? I'm pretty sure.
It definitely is. But he went from 22. Like I guess the jump wasn't as big because he went from like 22 points a game to 28.
Yeah. So T-Mac is
Tracy
going to win it
McGrady.
this year.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I think he goes crazy.
And
because
honestly,
T-Mac gets his. Yeah.
T-Mac was going to be the guy I was thinking of. In terms of, but it's so because this is where Kobe playing with Shaq affects him from a legacy standpoint, and but also helps him because, like you said, when you have a guy on your team that draws two every single time, it's going to be real easy to you know what I mean. He's not even on the list.
Kobe wasn't even on it. That's crazy.
So this is the major point now. So Kobe's going to get injured, right? He'd been dealing with ankle problems the last month before this, but playing through it.
Yeah.
And now it's finally gonna fuck himself against Milwaukee. And he's gonna try and play this game here against the Knicks, but other than that,
was it a sprain or was it a brick? It wasn't a fracture or anything, was it? It's almost.
Do I have it written down?
That's like 2 or 3 weeks. That looks like a 3-week span.
Yeah, it was an ankle. I just have ankle injury. I'll have it on the screen.
I just saw you said
because he as early as late February he was dealing with ankle problems because I was reading it in the newspapers.
Yeah.
And this had to be the final straw for his ankle. Something must have just like maybe it was a stress fracture, maybe something like that. But I'll have it on your screen. But after that game on April 1st, this is when we become the greatest team ever. This is when it begins. This is after this point in April, they're not going to lose for 2 months. Yeah. They're going to win their last 8. They're going to win their last 8 games of the regular season. Shaq finishing the regular season against Denver, going 13 of 13 from the free throw line.
Wow.
And for the whole month, 34, 13, 3.5 assists, 2.4 blocks, shooting 58.5%, 10 free throws made a game.
Yeah.
It's flowing through him again.
Yeah.
Some people credit Derek Fisher with the start of this turnaround.
Yeah.
Or just like credit Derek Fisher's presence being there, but I really think it's more the ankle injury than what Derek Fisher did.
Yeah. But then this was like a blessing in disguise, to be honest, the ankle injury, because I remember in Kobe's legacy breakdown, one of the big things was Kobe realized how good the team was doing without him. Yeah. And going into the playoffs, he didn't want to mess up that chemistry. So that's what caused him to fall in line kind of and go like he was like exactly what I think they wanted him to be. It was like they were running it through Shaq, but he still got his kind of thing.
Yeah. But they're gonna finish right. Shaq's gonna finish 3rd in MVP voting this year.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of honestly surprised about after I went through everything.
Because in reality, like how when you break it down based off the record with
getting
Kobe,
first place votes too. I don't know. It's solely because everyone considers Shaq at this apex.
Yeah, and they think he's the best player in the league. Like that's off a name more than anything, because there's no way that he was. How is Shaq more valuable than Kobe that year?
I mean, like I think this is where Shaq spinning the media narrative helps him, where he goes and tells people and reminds people that last year we were 67 and 15. This year we're way worse. It's not my fault. Yeah. When the team is run through me, look what we do. That type of shit. Yeah. And I think the run in April probably pushed that further, because even like in more recent MVP talks, like what happens at the end of the year makes a big difference. Like even the one that we're about to go through, we're in April of 2022, heading into the 2022 playoffs, and the award voting is going to be very close.
Yeah, facts.
And it's going to come down to what these guys have done in this last month to get them with certain seeding, whatever. And I think the 8-0 run to finish the season definitely helped his MVP case. For sure. So you asked me earlier for playoffs pace, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get that answer for you now that we're entering the playoffs. I wanted to save it for this moment because we're going to look at two different teams. Their pace is exactly the same. But from an offensive rating and defensive rating standpoint, it's going to be extremely different. So in the regular season, the Lakers' offensive rating and defensive rating, I think.
Right, that's that too.
Yeah. So here we go. Lakers. So they have a 104.8 defensive rating. That is good for bottom 10 in the league. One of the 10 worst defenses in the league. Their net rating is plus 3.6, which is top 10, right? I think their offensive rating is just under Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's Ray Allen and those boys, right?
Yeah. So one thing that I always remember us talking about is how historically top 10 defenses in the league usually win championships.
Yes.
Right? And we talked about the only exception was always this team, this 2001 Lakers.
Right. Yeah. But are they an exception? Because when we go to the playoffs, defensive rating 97.9.
Yeah.
The only defense under 100 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One of the, I think, 15 best defensive ratings for a playoff champion.
Wow.
They're gonna totally. Yeah. Let me see if I can get
all
that
time.
up.
That's insane.
I can't fucking do it. I'll have it on the screen. Fucking, they're in there. They're fucking in there. I'm telling you, they're in there. I did all this fucking bullshit yesterday to figure it out. I think I have it somewhere here.
No worries.
So, yeah, they're fucking savages. So, and it's crazy because they're gonna do that, and then they're gonna have their two guys just carry the load.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna go against Portland, the team they saw in the conference finals last year to start.
Could I ask one more question? My bad.
No.
For how many points were they allowing during the playoff run?
That I can get. So.
And I'm also curious to see how much Kobe and Shaq averaged.
So they allowed Lakers 90.6 points per game.
Okay.
And Kobe and Shaq, I think, both got to 29. I think, or 30.
Even in the playoffs?
I believe so. I'm going to check now. Yeah, 29,
30 and 29. So they were allowing 90 points a game, but they were putting up 59. Between those two players. That's insane.
They just went 2 on 15.
Oh my God.
They would be getting blown out, but like way closer than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous stat.
Like, to answer my question from before, they are by far the best 1-2 punch ever. Like, no one has ever.
They are the best. They are the best scoring duo of all time. That's a undeniable fact. If you want to break it down to be really specific, if you want to take it away from the general greatest, there is no two guys that have scored this much on the same team.
The closest was probably KD and Steph.
And it was not this.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
It just wasn't at all. Because there were still other guys on the squad that were getting more, that were getting buckets, like the Klay Thompsons of the world.
Yeah, yep.
After Kobe and Shaq, it falls off a cliff. Nobody else averages 15. Yeah. Like when we were talking about LeBron's legacy breakdown, there were several times LeBron had like nobody on his team even averaged 15 points a game.
Yeah. Yep.
So outside of these two guys, it's just them, and they're in the perfect era to get this done.
Yeah.
I wonder if this would be possible bringing them forward. And that's going to be a fun part when we do the hypotheticals. I'm interested. I'm really interested in that.
Yeah.
But they're going to sweep the Blazers 3-0. Shaq absolutely is amazing. 27, 16, fucking, well, he's shooting 48%. That's not that great. But I just think he's dominating.
He has some insane games, though.
Yeah.
Like
game one, he's going to put up 24 and 20 in game one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lakers are going to score 19 consecutive points. It's a crazy run.
Yeah.
Between the third and fourth quarter. And Kobe's going to have 28. And this is what they're going to be for this playoffs. Just, we're getting over 100, and we're going to stop you from scoring 100.
And the craziest part is that this is the same team they just had a 7-game series with, right?
Yep.
The season before, like to get to the NBA Finals. And a lot of the times, I feel like we see this where a team has a one of these great teams. They have a hurdle, and then the next year they face that hurdle again, and they just beat the dog shit out of them. Like
Kobe and Shaq in the fourth quarter, just
like think about like the Bulls in the 90 season to the 91 season. Their hurdle was Detroit. The very next year they sweep them.
Yeah, that's true. But and also with the Pistons and the Trailblazers, they were, I think, both Pistons and Trailblazers the next year were worse teams. Like another year older. Blazers are obviously the 7 seed this year.
Another example you could say is Milwaukee with the Heat.
With Miami, yeah.
Yeah, with Miami.
Oh, yeah.
And the next year just beating the dog shit out of Miami. So
for sure.
Yeah.
If only the Lakers got their chance to do this to the Jazz. I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, for sure. Because they would have definitely, like, I think once the 2000 season hit. Yeah, once the 2000 season hit, like, I feel like, even though in that 2000 season, they lost to the Jazz. I think most of the time they lost to the Jazz.
Yeah.
So that would have been interesting.
For sure. Kobe, as we were talking about, way more all around, right? 25, 7.7 assists, 2.3 steals, getting to the free throw line. Just playing, just very much an all-around basketball player, and
even with his role, like he's taking less than 20 shots a game.
Yep.
Like so he's understanding like his range more so of how much shots he should be taking.
Picking his spots infinitely more.
Yeah, and Shaq is clearly
absolutely picking his spots
at that 20 shot mark every game kind of thing.
And by game 2, the Blazers are just resorting to cheap bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, they've decided if we can't beat them, we're just going to try and, like, hurt them.
Yeah. Or maybe they probably looked at them as, maybe we should just try to bully them. Because a lot of the times that's what teams would do. Once you don't got the talent, you just try to bully them. Because it could work out. Like, when you think about, like, the 06, not the 06 Mavs,
the Celtics against the Lakers. So the first time the Celtics played the Lakers. The Lakers were fucking blowing them out and fucking being flashy.
But I was just thinking about that.
They knocked them on their ass.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that Mavs team that lost to the Warriors in the first round. Remember, they just bullied them, like bullied Dirk and shit like that. And
sure. Baron Davis's dunk.
Yeah. With the that's a.
Yeah,
about to show you my belly real quick, yo. Yeah,
titty flash.
We're not trying to do that, man. Come on.
But they had.
You gotta subscribe to my OnlyFans if you want that. I'm playing with me. I'll be hoeing out here if y'all let me. No, I'm joking.
They had 5 technicals and 2 ejections, including somebody elbowing Robert Horry in the fucking head. Or chest. Scottie Pippen tried to fight Kobe for a minute.
We know what would have happened. Kobe would have broke that nose off. Stop playing.
Kobe would have absolutely dominated.
And Kobe can't even fight like that. We saw the 2-piece. We know that it happened at some point. I think it was this season or the season before, whatever.
Yeah.
But Kobe knocked Scottie Pippen out. I believe that.
And then Lakers finish him out in the third game.
Yeah.
Not allowing Portland to even come close to 100 points scored.
Yeah.
Shaq 25-15. Kobe 22, 9 assists, 2 steals.
Yeah.
Even though Kobe was inefficient, it didn't matter. They got the job done.
Yeah.
Derek Fisher was also good in this game too.
Yeah.
But they get through their old rivals from last season pretty easily.
Do you think this West was the gauntlet? Like this was the tougher conference, right? We would say
by this point, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Because that
100%.
Because you could argue, like some people might try to argue that, but I just think you got to go through Spurs. You got you might have had to go through Utah. You had Portland wasn't an easy feat. Even that Sacramento team, like that next year, we know what that Sacramento team does next year. So they're
on. They're in it right now. Chris Webber, I'm pretty sure I think he's all NBA second team or first team. I think it's second team. So Chris Webber, all NBA first team this season.
Yeah. Oh shit.
This is peak Webber. This year and next year is peak Chris Webber.
Can we look at the all NBA first teams?
So 27, 11, and 4 from Webber this season with a steal and almost 2 blocks a game. Absolutely apex Chris Webber right here.
Yeah, facts. That's crazy.
For the NBA first team was Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Shaq, and Chris Webber. Mamba.
Oh, because they only did it by shooting guard. It wasn't guards. It was just shooting guards.
Yep.
Which made sense because Allen Iverson was the MVP. All right, I'm not super mad at that, but that's
I agree with you. He should be first team. Fuck Jason Kidd in his face. But
no, yeah, it should be guards. Like it shouldn't have, but that's not how they were doing it at that point. They were like point guard, shooting guard. Like they're actually because it was less positionless.
Definitely true.
It was position basketball, whatever. All right,
position full.
Yeah, position full. All right,
but yeah, so they're going up against the Sacramento team. Sacramento, I'm pretty sure, has the most points per game scored for the year. Yeah, they'll finish at 101.7 points a game.
Yeah.
How many threes are they taking?
And one of the best points allowed, too. They were a solid team.
Absolutely. This is peak. This is primo Sacramento.
And this is why, when you talk about the greatest teams all the time, this Sacramento team, I'm talking about with this Laker team, they were a buzzsaw. They just destroyed the West when you had really good teams that they were facing.
Yeah.
This Spurs team the Spurs team they're about to face is no joke. And
we're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to them.
Sacramento team. Yeah, and this
Sacramento team is great, and Shaq's just gonna go 40 and 20.
Yeah,
twice.
He's try to stop it. And then when Shaq's not giving you and then when Shaq's not giving you the 40-piece, Kobe saying, "All right, I'll give you 36 and 48."
Do you think
it's just relentless? It's just boom.
I could totally see Shaq and Kobe. I could see Shaq specifically bringing up this topic, saying, "Kobe, why don't I just take it at home, and then on the road, you can have it.
Out.
You just take over.
They just punching the shit out. Imagine that. You really have to deal with. All right, we setting up to stop this guy.
Yeah.
So this guy's gonna give me a 40-piece. And then, all right, we got to set up to try to stop this guy. And then this guy's giving you a 40-piece. Literally in the same series, you got guys giving you 35, 40 a game. That's crazy.
Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic are both going to average over 20 points a game. But Peja, a historically awesome shooter, just got cuffed.
Lockdown defense. Stop playing with us. And they locked down the three-point shot. Both the late Lakers, of the 2000s, and this early Laker team, great at stopping the three.
Like,
that was a Phil Jackson special, man.
this defense is just completely different than what we saw in the regular season. If you played this team in the regular season and used the tape from that regular season, you're in trouble. And I think that's what happened to these guys.
Yeah.
They looked at the situation. They were like, oh, I just think they weren't looking in the now, if that makes sense. I think they were using recency bias and being like, they're still not going to be the same defensive team. Like, it's so the LA Times after game 3 of this series wrote, before Friday, the Lakers were an impressive team with a lot of momentum, but they hadn't really been tested in the postseason. Portland looked scary, but hadn't beaten a winning team in weeks and turned out to be an empty suit of armor. Nevertheless, the Trailblazers were still capable of making a stand, and they got fucked. But Friday, against a notoriously high-scoring, front-running team, playing before a notoriously loud, Laker-hating crowd, the Lakers ran the Kings off. Like children one sends to bed. Brush your teeth. Yeah. You can read for 15 minutes, then in all caps, turn off that light. Now. This time, I mean it. There was there was a pixiest young woman from a local radio station who told Vlade Divac that they've been asking their listeners how to stop Shaq. One said the Tanya Harding method. If you know about Tanya Harding, that was an Olympic figure skater in the 90s who she fucking bludgeoned. She bludgeoned her opponent. She bludgeoned her opponent's legs and like just fucked her all. I don't know the story super well, but it was a huge thing in the Olympics. It was the Winter Olympics.
But why would you write? How would they write? That's crazy. They used to
the Tanya Harding method.
If that person would have said that right now on social media,
Nancy Kerrigan was the person she bludgeoned.
Yeah, but if that person would have said that right now on social media, they would have got canceled. 100%. And the Lakers, they beat the shit out of them. They won on average. They beat them by 10 points, which is a lot at this time. Like that's not normal. The crazy part, Kobe 35.
And some of these games were close.
Yeah, 35
to
108.
35 9
just those last two. 35 9-4 with Kobe, and then Shaq with the 33-17 with freaking 3 blocks a game. That's fire.
This is what we were saying in our Wilt Chamberlain video with Johnny Arnett. This was a stat line for Wilt Chamberlain. Like, this is what, especially when we had him on like the Celtics, like 30, 35, 17. Like, this is crazy. And Shaq's doing it in regular time, in like, not exactly modern anymore. It was 20 years ago, but the modern NBA.
Modern NBA is
the more modern NBA
past the 80s. Come on, let's be like fact.
I feel like the modern NBA now. This is totally a different topic for a different day, but I think the modern NBA now is more Steph Curry forward. I think that's the modern.
Yeah,
NBA.
I guess.
I think it changed
that's when there was definitely a change. Yeah,
but this is a competitive as fuck era, and the Lakers, to your point, just penetrating anally. And Kobe said 46 and 16 because Shaq fouls out in this game.
And and my whole thing is
no one can save him. He plays all 48 minutes, does Kobe. Unbelievable.
Oh man.
Just butt sex of every proportions.
Fancy, man. Stop playing with me.
15 points in the fourth quarter again.
Fourth quarter? Oh, 5 for 8? What are we doing, man? Stop playing with us, man. We the goats out here. Stop back.
C-Web, 21 points on 25 shots, you coward. Oh, fuck you, C-Web. You're a burger. You bum and a half. Fuck.
My God, so my favorite series is coming up, right? With the Spurs, right? And this is my favorite because especially when doing the Kobe's legacy breakdown, I remember this thoroughly. So this Spurs team it was a huge rivalry between the Spurs and the Lakers,
right?
And it had been brewing. So in 1999, the Spurs swept them or beat them in 5 in the
it was
Western
a sweep.
Conference.
We talked about it.
Yeah, yep. So
they-
Western Conference semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did sweep them. You're right. So they did sweep them, right? And I remember mentioning at that point that's when like Kobe hadn't gotten to that point in his career where like
He
because
was
Shaq
consistent.
needed that because they had the big guys to at least put bodies on Shaq, make it difficult for him. Like we saw in that series, Shaq shot like 46-47% from the field, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and then in the 2000 series, the 2000 season, they missed the Spurs because I think injuries played a
Duncan
huge
got
part.
hurt. Duncan got hurt. So
Yeah.
they
So
didn't.
and the
it wasn't
Spurs
the
were
same.
saying they wouldn't have won that 2000 championship if the Spurs were there. So it's like it's this rift, but I mean not a rift, but like this fight for power in the West.
And this is the
like,
rivalry of this era, in my opinion.
For sure, 100%. And for the next 10 years, this is the biggest rivalry. Right? So, like, it's crazy that that's not talked about as much as like the Boston Lakers rivalry and because they
Spurs
faced
are
each other
fucking
a
boring.
ton. Yeah, it's because of the boring. Like, if
boring.
the Spurs had a better brand, like not better brand, but like a more visually appealing brand of basketball, it would have been talked about more. But
and it deserves to be talked about more, mainly because literally for 5 years, whoever won this series won the chip.
Facts.
For 5 years.
That's a fact. That's crazy. So fucking or they at least once. So Kobe and Shaq come in with this on bullshit. Pretty much, Kobe and Shaq are like, y'all, like we ready to whoop their ass.
Yeah.
And Kobe starts it out giving them a 45 piece.
Oh
and
my
saying,
God.
Hold that. I give you 45 piece, no sauce and no fries, motherfucker. You just eating that shit.
He's got
raw
almost
doggy.
100 points in the last 2 games for Kobe almost.
Yeah, insane. And this is the part, this is where, and it's going to happen, but this is my Kobeism shit that I be talking about. Don't talk to me about Shaq ain't need Kobe because Shaq couldn't get through these Spurs without Kobe. There's no fucking way in hell you're going to tell me that Shaq would have got through these Spurs without that. Like, he needed a guy to do that.
Tim Duncan, 28, 14, 6 assists, 5 blocks, 7 turnovers, but oh my Lord. That's Tim insane. Duncan, this is a guy we need to cover.
Yeah.
I just really believe that. Especially covering all these different people around Duncan. Like, the man is special, and this era of Duncan's career does not get talked about
at all.
And it needs to. It needs to, because this is why he's one of the 10 greatest players to ever live.
Yeah.
Game two, despite the Lakers winning 80-81, Duncan 40 and 15.
He literally put up half the team's points.
And Phil Jackson got ejected.
Yeah. He played all 48 minutes. That's insane.
Jeez. And
David Robinson
won.
was like a shell of himself. Look at him, 26 minutes a game. So,
and he got in foul trouble, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he was in 5 personal fouls.
Do you think that plays
trouble?
Yeah. Do you think that plays a huge role as Duncan Robinson wasn't even close to what he was the last 2 years?
Yeah. But also David Robinson, his job was solely to play defense in these series, I think. And just be a body on Shaq. And I think it matters that he wasn't on the floor.
Do you think if 99 Robinson was in this series, it made a difference? Like, do you think they win? The Spurs could win that series?
I don't know. I don't know, and here's why. I was about to go to this quote, and I think this answers your question.
Okay.
LA Times after game 1. Who's to say Kobe Bryant isn't going to be better than Michael Jordan? Let's get that out on the table right now. He's a lot better than Jordan than he was at the same age. I wrote that down just for you.
Yeah, because
this answers
was facts. What are we talking about here, man? Stop playing with me. All right, for all of you,
but hold on, no, because before you go on your spiel, because I want to answer your question. You get mad that I don't answer your questions. You get mad I don't answer your question. I'm answering your fucking question. So, the Lakers have added more pick and rolls to get Bryant chances to attack the basket. They spread the Spurs defense, giving Bryant room to penetrate. With his ability, he doesn't need much of a pick to gain an advantage. This is 2020's basketball.
This is how Kobe's cock looked like, too.
To answer your question, I think that the Spurs were playing a different brand of basketball than the Lakers, and the Lakers are playing a brand of basketball that is years in advance, especially at this point. And that is the sign of almost all of these all-time great teams. Yeah. They play years in front of what the league is going to look like.
It's and the pick and roll, pick and pop, like that makes it so difficult for that too.
And the spread, everybody shoots. If it's not Shaq, everybody shoots the fucking ball on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then you got that
makes it really hard to guard.
Yeah, and you got that main guy that could work you off the dribble. And like every championship team pretty much needs that. Like you need a guy that all things fail, who's gonna get you the bucket. Like every team that in NBA history has had that guy. Even though that 2014 Spurs, like that 2014 Spurs, it was Manu. That was who it was.
Kobe in this series was guarding either Terry Porter or Avery Johnson, which was a move by Phil Jackson. It enabled Bryant to conserve energy on defense because he had no trouble guarding those players, and the Spurs could not find him in transition. Yeah. That is crucial because they're playing based on their defense right now and their half-court offense. That's what they're doing. Yeah. And I don't think San Antonio had when you include Robinson's foul trouble, when you include the way the Lakers were spreading the floor, I don't think they had the personnel to get this done. Yeah. My opinion.
The crazy part is, bro, like, let's really think about this. Let's say, this is Shaq's legacy breakdown. We could do this for Kobe's future legacy breakdown or something. But when you really think about it, Kobe at 22 really was at a point, like, because MJ didn't start in the league until what, 21? Like, it was late
in the league.
Yeah,
yeah, he did 3 years of school.
By 22, he wasn't at this Kobe level. That's just a fact. But when it comes to like, if the Lakers would have had like a actual succession plan with this whole Kobe Shaq thing, and in that 3-4 years where Kobe didn't have Shaq and they were pretty much scrambling to figure things out, if they would have had something there and Kobe wins one championship more, like it wins one championship there, like we talking about this a completely different way.
Maybe. I just think it's at the end of the day, would Kobe have progressed the same way without having a guy that could always draw to? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question. I think.
You're talking about like without. Yeah, but I'm not saying take out Shaq's years. I'm saying Shaq leaves, but they have an actual team.
I get what. Yeah. I get what you're saying, but I guess in my head it's like I think the conversation. I don't know how much the conversation changes because it's still those 3 rings with the most dominant player in the world.
Yeah,
like and that's something that none of the other great players. Like they play with great players, but not the best player.
That's not true. Like because Magic did.
Yeah, but
at the first 5 years of Magic's career, Kareem was the best player on that team.
Kareem was the best player on that team, but they weren't like
in the league.
I don't know. I guess I just think it matters that I think for Kobe's progression and how fast he progressed, yes, he was working hard, but it helped so much to have Shaquille. Like it just did. Like you could try a lot more shit. You can get away with a lot more. And
I agree with that. It helped.
I don't know.
I just don't think.
I just don't know how much if we're talking like GOAT conversation. I still think these 3 championships.
It holds it again. But I think it becomes one of those where you could fight Kobe for 2.
Get held against him.
Yeah, I feel like that's where you just fight Kobe for 2. Like that, he'll be fighting with Magic more than Jordan, but he would still be in the conversation because I think at the end of the day, he's still the lesser between on an individual level, he's still below Jordan. Like,
yeah.
All right, sorry, but I didn't want to make it a Kobe thing, but I was just I was curious to know your answer to that.
I think these 3 years shape him in a lot of ways in terms of the GOAT case. But let's see. San Antonio came in with this is the LA Times. San Antonio came in with a sound defensive plan or offensive plan. Go to whomever Shaquille was guarding and make him pick up cheap fouls. It was effective early, but when the Lakers began to double team Tim Duncan and David Robinson, the Spurs missed open 3-point shots and committed turnovers. This is what I was trying to say before. They didn't have the roster construction to keep up with the Lakers who were spreading everything. And the LA Times guy goes to say, I don't see the Lakers losing unless they get bored. Their offense is more versatile and unpredictable than it's ever been, and they haven't forgotten about O'Neal, but they're attacking from so many other pieces. Yeah. Everyone is driving to the basket in time and their cuts well. Everybody thinks they're going to get the ball if they're in the right spot. That is a commonality amongst every elite, all-time great NBA team or dynasty.
Facts.
Everyone on the team 1 through fucking 15 or 13 at the time knows their role and know that they could be utilized more at any moment. And I just think it's crazy. Shaq, after game 1,
Kobe had scored 93 points in back-to-back road victories.
I told Kobe today he was my idol. He's playing. No, I'm serious. He's playing phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think he's the best player in the league by far.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
But this is why when you were saying to me, no, I think Russell, I think you're going too far. Shaq's not a petulant little bitch. This is why I think he is absolutely a petulant little bitch. Because if you're going to go on and say, oh man, he's amazing. He's the greatest player in the league. If he's the best player in the league, why are you bitching during the regular season?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Because your penis is being measured to this other guy's penis. And none of that matters. None of it matters at all. Look at what you're doing now. Yeah, you could stand up toe-to-toe with any all-time great team. Because you just shut the fuck up and play your role.
If this team held on to this, they literally would have. This would have been like the Showtime Lakers run. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
They would have because that's why when Kobe and Shaq say if they would have stood together and figured things out, they would have won like 7 or whatever. Like they say this.
I think they would have got. I think they would have got at least 5. But we can run through that when the breakup happens.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Game 4, Derek Fisher is going to hit 6 threes. And after this series, everyone feels that the Lakers are going to win the chip pretty easily. Like they are overwhelming favorites.
Especially because on the other side, you got Allen Iverson had like a crazy run with the Sixers and helped them get to the playoffs. I mean, sorry, not the playoffs. Helps them get to the NBA Finals. Yeah, with a little bit of bullshit in between that we break.
Oh yeah, well, there's a whole. That's a whole. Yeah. Can't wait to do. At some point, Allen Iverson's going to be on this list, and we will have plenty of time to talk about it. They had a you're right though. Their road to the NBA Finals was very fucking different than the road we just saw.
Yeah,
like it's similar to Warriors Cavs in 2018.
Yeah,
with the Cavs going through all those fucking bloodbaths, and the Warriors just like getting through relatively easy. Like they had the Rockets thing, but they had the Rockets thing, but once that was their real it was a little bit of turbulence, a little less turbulence than the Lakers had. Lakers are undefeated so far in this playoffs. They have not lost.
I would like to see. Could we see what Kobe averaged for this playoff run and Shaq averaged
through the finals or before the finals?
No, in this series, in that series against San Antonio.
So
I'm curious to see what Kobe and Shaq averaged.
And I'll have a quote for you after this. So,
33, 7 and 7.
Yeah.
2.5
and
a block.
Shaq 27 and 13 with a block, shooting 54%. Final quote from
7 and 7 is very MJ-esque.
So final quote to wrap this out. This was after Game 3. It's amazing to watch the Lakers play team basketball so well, especially when you think to how badly they played during the regular season. The key, and that's a fact. That's part of what I was trying to say. It's a totally different team, right?
But it's funny, like they played badly, but they still won 56 games. Like that's insane.
They could have won 70.
Talent, their talent.
They could have won 70.
It's insane.
But the key to their turnaround has been Bryant, who has destroyed opponents in the playoffs by finally allowing the game to come to him. With Bryant not looking to shoot every time he fucking touches the ball, I added that for it, the rest of the Lakers do not hesitate to move to open areas because they know passes come more frequently. It wasn't too long ago when the Lakers stood around and watched either O'Neal power inside or Bryant go one-on-one. That's my point. That's what I said a minute ago. Everybody thinks they're going to get the ball at any point.
Yeah.
And people are getting shots up and people are getting opportunities. And I think it's crucial for them to go from a good team to an all-time great, legendary team. And this is the other thing. They're hitting more free throws now, and they were the worst free throw shooting team in the league by the numbers, 29, 60. But you don't even understand this by Shaq. I found this thing. I saved it. I saved it in my Shaq Legacy Breakdown notes because I needed to show this to you. So we're going on the gram real quick. During the 2000-2001 season, the Lakers were 29. If Shaq not shot any free throws, they would be number one.
That's insane.
That's a wild statistic. That is a fucking wild statistic. God damn, Shaq.
That's crazy.
And Shaq was still the most dominant player in the league despite being one of the worst free throw shooters ever. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And it's true. Look at all these guys in the high 70s, low 80s. Yeah. And then there's Shaq, 51%. Jeez. But they're going to get to the finals, and they're going to go against that 76ers team. And this is where we see the first little bit of playoff turbulence for the Lakers. And it's basically because Iverson decided to etch his name in history as being a player that this is Allen Iverson. In my opinion, Allen Iverson was on the map. He was one of the most popular players in the league. But to me, this is his on the map moment, in my opinion, because he crossed over Jordan. But this is the reason he is known for.
This is what made him an icon, you think?
In 2050, in 2050, we'll still talk about Allen Iverson, and this is the reason. I see that step over of Tyronn Lue happen more than anything at all. And the craziest part in Iverson's career, in NBA history, it's one of the most played highlights you'll ever see. And the crazy part about Game 1 is, yes, Allen Iverson had his 48, but Shaq, not to be outdone, 44 and 20.
20. Just insane.
With 5 assists.
Yeah.
Like, 51 minutes played.
Yeah.
Kobe, horrific game.
Yeah. His worst playoff game of this run, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it came at a bad time, but Shaq, 44 and 20, 5 assists. This game never gets talked about. He's going to be the Finals MVP. This game still never gets talked about because Allen Iverson crossed over Tyronn Lue. And what's do they have his usage rate here? 43.6% of the game, the ball was in Allen Iverson's hands.
Yeah.
Bonkers. That is just
his usage rate that year was just.
But this was the other thing that I wanted to mention about Allen Iverson before we keep going to the finals. So we were talking about efficiency, right? So he's going to shoot 42% for the regular season to win this MVP award. But the playoffs, heading into the NBA Finals, this legend, this icon, this Hall of Fame player, master of the game, is going to shoot 38% and score 32 points a game on 29 shots. I don't know if we could.
5 though. 3 steals.
This may be a hot take. This may be a hot take. I don't know if Allen Iverson. I don't know, man. You have to be able to make shots in today's NBA. And even though the floor is more spread out for AI and he could get to the basket maybe a little more.
Yeah. Well, he would get those fouls a little. Like, I don't know because
you think
he used to attack the rim a lot. Like
absolutely, he's getting to the line 10 times a game in playoffs so far.
Yeah.
And he shoots the 3 ball a lot, he's more efficient, almost more efficient from 3 than he is from the whole field.
Yeah.
He's definitely a decent 3-point shooter at this point in comparison to the league, for sure.
Yeah.
But 38% is just. You would be getting killed. Twitter would be murdering him.
What's his true shooting though? Like because you got to remember when you're the only one shooting, like the offense literally ran through him. So like it was like he shoots, we lock up defense. That's how we're gonna try to win these games.
We can get the playoff true shooting for Allen Iverson. 52% true shooting.
Okay.
Right, and then playoffs. 48% true shooting.
Yeah. Still not that great, but
it's not great. It's matter of fact, it's ugly.
But he had to take and make tough shots harder because you got to remember the way the offense is. He's getting double, triple teams sometimes. Like he's 100% going through that, and he's 6 foot. Like it wasn't easy. Like to me, him bringing that
generously 6 foot, generously.
Yeah, him bringing that team to the NBA Finals is like, that's insane.
Yeah,
at 6 feet,
it's
at 6 feet is insane, bro. Like
they ran the table from an award standpoint too. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Shaq's gonna do the 44 and 20 against the Dikembe Mutombo, who won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
and is a world-renowned defender.
And they need I love that quote. Quote from Shaq. Shaq's what did they say? Hold on, let me find that because that was. It says O'Neal put Dikembe Mutombo on his list of centers unwilling or unable to play him like a man.
Yeah,
I love that because he needed the double teams and stuff in order for them to even have a chance.
Yeah, and their highlights have been on your screen, and they'll continue to be on your screen. It really is like. The whole team tries to collapse on Shaq at one point. Yeah. And it does not matter. At all. Like, Shaq is just bullying the shit out of anybody in his way. And it's just amazing.
How much did Iverson average in this finals?
He had a good finals from an average standpoint, right? 41% shooting, 36 points a game, 4 assists, 2 steals, right?
6 rebounds. That's crazy. 6 rebounds from AI.
Made a couple threes a game. Yeah. 6 rebounds from AI is kind of crazy. Yeah. It's a small boy.
He literally played like a man though. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's what Shaq always credits him with. Yeah, Shaq's always like
a giant.
He was never afraid to go in there and get fucked up by me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shaq has some crazy plays against Allen Iverson, too. There's this one play from a couple of years back where Allen Iverson tried to go for a floater, and Shaq sends that shit into the fucking 7th row. Yeah. Looked like a volleyball spike. It was crazy. It's an all-time great Shaq play. So they blow that first game, and then in game 2, Shaq's going to have one of the all-time great finals games. 28 points, 20 rebounds, 9 assists, and a finals record tying 8 blocks at the time. Now Dwight Howard had 9 blocks when he was in the 09 finals. But
who did he match? He matched Hakeem at that time?
There were a couple of guys. There are a couple of guys with 8 blocks.
Yeah.
But absolutely
when did Dwight have the 9? Was that that wasn't in the 09?
Yeah, it's the only finals he made. It's the only finals he made.
No. He went to the 2000 with the Lakers.
Yeah, 9 blocks. June 9th,
Okay.
2009. Yeah, I knew it. I was like,
Yeah.
I remember the blue when I was looking at it. But there, like I said, there are a couple of guys here with 8 blocks.
Must have been
Duncan,
the
well,
only game they
Duncan's going
won.
to get it later. But
Bitch
Ewing,
ass motherfuckers, man. Stop playing with us.
Ewing,
Yeah.
Elijah Wan, Bill Walton had all gotten to 8 blocks. Elijah Wan did it in 86 when they got fucked by Boston. But but no, so crazy game. And he had 5 of those 8 blocks in the second half where he just totally takes over.
Yeah.
11 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. Almost a 5-by-5 in one half.
Yeah.
Dominant.
Like Shaq definitely, like, once he got to the finals, he was on bullshit all the time.
I feel like once he got to the playoffs, he was just ready to destroy anyone and everyone in sight.
Yeah, but I mean, the finals, he definitely brought it up, like, to the next level.
Yeah, which is crazy because as we've looked at, there aren't a lot of guys in NBA history who have successfully done that.
Yeah.
Where they go, especially at this point where the regular season matters and people aren't like pulling their foot off the gas pedal. It's that next level is where they up it in the playoffs. It's a very short list, and Shaq's definitely on it.
Yeah.
Game 3, Big Shot Bob shows up, and he scores the last 7 points in 47 seconds.
Yeah.
Because once again, Shaq fouls out because he's humongous and he just tries to kill people. But it's really funny to see Kobe in the press conference after this. Because Kobe's going to be like, he's basically sitting next to Robert Horry and he's like, it's every fucking year. It's every year, this guy. It was last year. He does it every time in the playoffs. This guy's just there and he shows up and he's amazing.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was so funny. Kobe was just like a kid about it.
Because and it's crazy because he's right, because next year is when he has that amazing fucking game winner.
Yeah.
Is that to win the series? That's not to win the series. That's to...
I don't know. We'll look into it when we do it next year, but
I don't think it's the one.
But I know I know the shot that you're speaking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's where the O'Neal put Dikembe Mutombo on a list of centers unwilling or unable to play him like a man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
No. So game 4, Shaq has 34.
Mm-hmm.
Many on dunks, the force of which appeared to startle 76er center Dikembe Mutombo, according to LA Times. That is
Dikembe's a 4-time
poor Dikembe.
Dikembe's a 4-time defensive player of the year. And you got this man literally putting fear down his heart.
And disrespecting him. Mutombo's going to have a nice game here, though. 19 and 9, 9 of 11 from the field for Dikembe. It's pretty good.
1 block.
Allen Iverson, 35 points on 30 shots.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's crazy. Kobe, only 13 shots here. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Almost triple-double.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaq, 34, 14, and 5.
Yeah.
52% shooting. Savage. Lakers also going to hit 10 threes in this game.
Yeah.
Just everything hitting on all cylinders. Heading into the final game 5.
They never really had that's crazy. Besides that one game, it was pretty much just like
what they had been doing the all playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Kobe 26, 12, and 6.
Yep.
Right? A steal and a block. Shaq, another 5 block performance. 29 and 13 with 5 blocks.
Yeah. This is
4 of them in the second half.
This is probably why people got so frustrated with Shaq though on the defensive end, because they saw what he could be.
You've seen it this whole time. You've seen it this whole time.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Shaq
sure.
being an underrated defender, but then you look at it and you're like, it's not that he's underrated. It's just that piece of shit only tried when the chips were down.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise he wasn't showing on the pick and roll ever.
Yeah.
But absolutely dominant. Another bet. So in 2 NBA finals, right? In 2 NBA finals, Shaq is basically averaging what, 30, 35,
Yeah, he averaged 35
17,
this one. Yeah. So he's averaging like, I think,
33 and
but-
16 here with 5 assists and 3.5 blocks.
yeah, so he's pretty much averaging 35, like 17 with like 4 or 5 assists. That like, yeah, that's insane. For 2 NBA finals straight.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
The two NBA finals in a row.
Yeah.
And so here's my question for you as we leave this chapter of Shaq's amazing career. And we're in the amazing part. We've left the shade. We are into the light. The light is shining bright. We're not getting swept anymore, baby. We're out of the sweep.
Like a diamond. Like a diamond
So-
in the sky. Oh, sorry.
Are Shaq and Kobe the 2 best players in the league leaving this playoff run?
Absolutely. The only argument mainly is Kobe more than Shaq, obviously. Like, cause this is a guard-driven league at this point, right? So
Your guards, you think? I still think it's a big men. I still think there's a lot of big men still. You got Weber, Garnett, Duncan, Shaq.
Yeah. I
Like,
guess
there's
it's a little bit of a
lot
mix because I'm thinking of
there's
like
a pretty good balance
Tracy
right now.
I'm thinking of T-Mac, Iverson,
Yeah, the big
Vince
4 there.
Carter.
The big 4 guys.
Vince Carter, Kobe. They had this. I mean, Jason Kidd. Like, there's a bunch of guards. Like, guards are definitely like heavy in this league right now.
Right.
But so I think that's why like you might have some argument. Like, some people would say AI is better than Kobe at this point, which I completely disagree. But I think for sure, and Tim Duncan's definitely in that conversation. I would say it's Shaq and Kobe and then the rest. But
Okay.
I could totally see somebody saying Tim Duncan or because Tim Duncan, does he have MVP? He gets his first MVP 2 years from now, right?
I think it's the next year. I think 01-02 is his first. I could be wrong, but I'll double check right now.
You might be right. Did Garnett?
Because Iverson
Garnett
gets it
didn't
next year.
Does
Garnett
win
gets it
MVP?
03-04. Yeah, this is Duncan's first MVPs next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Crazy. So
Yeah.
I think. So you have Shaq definitely number 1.
Yeah, just because when he's on like at his peak, there's nothing else that's like that force is just too much.
Yeah, I think it's you have to still have him. It's so tough with him because of how he was playing himself into shape and how he wasn't the same guy in the regular season that he's going to be in the playoffs. I'm sure it pissed people off. I'm sure it did because it pisses people off now, and it's way more common.
Yeah,
like
but like even with LeBron, like when LeBron wasn't doing his shit, like we still said LeBron was the best player in the world because in that playoff when it was playoff time, we like that peak playoff LeBron. There was nobody else like it. So like that's how I'm looking at it right now. I'm not taking into consideration the regular season as much because I'm looking at when it's playoff times, the chips are to the table. Who's the best player in the league? And it's Shaq.
I definitely have Shaq. Yeah, it's got to be Shaq right now. I think you're right. I think that's a great point, and I think it's a fair one. Kobe is got to be after the playoffs specifically.
Yeah.
He's got, in my opinion, after the playoffs, he's got to be number 2. In my opinion,
okay.
I think people look at it, and I think people looked at it then and had Iverson over Kobe, like you said. But for me, looking at it with this lens, as we've gone through the legacy breakdown and looked at the season, I think Kobe has got to be the guy here because he took his game to another level up, and he's not going to get considered it because he plays with Shaq, and I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, Because when you think about it, like
Because if you put AI on the team, if you flip Kobe and AI spot,
yeah,
I think it looks very similar for both guys. I think Kobe ends up right around here, 31 points a game, 42% shooting, and then AI is the one.
Don't
AI
give me that.
Is the one. You're kidding me? This guy's absolutely going to be volume shooting on a 76er team where nobody's getting buckets. Come on, you can't tell me he's going to be fucking being a very efficient scorer. Get the fuck out of here.
How many shots is AI taking versus Kobe? It's not that much more.
Oh, it's way more. It's way more. Allen Iverson is a fucking fool. He was shooting 29 times a game.
Yeah.
Like, on average. That means if he shot 25, it was a bad game. We just looked at Kobe's thing where it was like, there were only like 15 games where he shot more than 25 times.
Yeah,
Allen Iverson, now you got me fucking going. Now I want to see how many times he didn't shoot more than 25 times. I feel like it's probably 5 times the whole fucking season. Like, he shot, it was just absurd. He shoots 40 in a game. He's taking 40 shots. He's shooting over 30 times, as many as Kobe shot over 25.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
He's shooting. Oh my god, he's the most aggressive volume shooter of all time.
But the whole the difference with the AI, and this is the argument I made back in Kobe's legacy breakdown. If Kobe and AI switched, the difference is you might get that same scoring, but you get a significantly better defender.
That's fair.
Like,
but I think from
defensive
a stat standpoint, it's the same. That's what I was more suggesting.
Well, I still think he gets whatever 31, 5 and 5 though. Like, that's just what. And
I
think he could still get you the 2 steals, probably not the 2.5, 3 steals, and he's just gonna be locking down on defense, which to an already defensive minded team that's like made for that. I think it's just going to be insane, like with Kobe on it. And that's what I think people – I could understand at that time, though, because it's just like saying remember Magic's first 5 years of his career, Bird was looked at as the better player.
Right.
And that's partially because Magic had Kareem there. And I think that's like a similar comparison.
Yeah, I definitely think it's fair, but I think I don't know. I think Allen Iverson, if he was in the Kobe role, would have slightly more efficient numbers, right? He'd be in that 45% category because he'd be the one getting the guy who's getting open looks and one-on-one every single time. Like,
but I think Kobe's one of the best 2-guard defenders in this league at this point.
Yeah, I agree. But that's why I think I have him set. I think he's the second best player in the league right behind Shaq right now. Entering 01-02, I think that's how, and I know that's how Kobe looks at it. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. He probably thinks he's the best.
Doubt about it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, then that fucking fat fuck Shaquille O'Neal. Fucking. And we're going to get into even more turmoil, more fucking controversy, more fucking bullshit as we roll through this incredible Lakers dynasty.
The saga continues.
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.